Hello and welcome to My Heart on Pages. I'm your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks, author, publisher, and founder of Pay Pro V Publishing, where we take stories from a thought to realization. This podcast is a sacred space for storytellers, overcomers, and visionaries who have chosen to turn pain into purpose and purpose into legacy. Here, we have real conversations about faith, resilience, healing, and the power of putting your heart on paper. Because your story is not random, it is intentional, and it deserves to be told. Welcome to My Heart on Pages.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of My Heart on Pages. I am super excited to have my special guest here today. I am Dr. LaQuita Parks. I am the CEO and founder of Pay Pro V Publishing, and Pay Pro V is Pain, Progress, Victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So I absolutely love helping people take their stories from a thought to a realization. And My Heart on Pages, we talk candidly to authors who have taken the time to put their heart on pages. So without further ado, and I'm looking, it's like something's in my face. Look, those of you who know me, you know, we've straight no chaser. Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what is on my face? Okay. So I am going to introduce Miss Jenise Greene. She is an elementary school counselor with more than 23 years of experience helping children grow, learn, and believe in themselves. And that is so needed. She earned her BA in early childhood education from Morris Brown College, her MA in professional counseling with Gracie. Am I saying it right? University, and her school counselor certification from the University of West Georgia. That's where my daughter went. Jenise is a licensed professional counselor, national board certified counselor, certified anger management specialist, and play therapist. Her passion for empowering young girls inspired her to create Girls with Pearls, a mentorship program focused on perseverance, encouragement, awareness, respect, leadership, and scholarship. And I'm going to let her continue the introduction. That is a lot, and I appreciate that. We're going to get right into it. So, Jenise, welcome to My Heart on Pages. Go ahead and finish telling the people about yourself, girl.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm so excited to join you all on tonight. Like LaQuita said, I have been in the field of education for over 23 years. I have a passion for children. I have a passion for allowing students and children to reach their goals. And so I am just excited about my career, things that I'm, looking forward to doing as well. And LaQuita, I think with the bio, you really covered majority of everything.
You know what? And as you're talking, I'm sitting here and I want to ask you a question right off the rip. Did you always know you wanted to be a writer, to be an author? Did you always know it?
Yes.
Okay. So, because that's not my story. I have some people that say, hey, I knew I wanted to be a writer or be an author when I was 4 years old, when I was 5 years old. That's not my story. So when did you know that you wanted to publish books, you wanted to write books? When did you know?
So being in the field of education for over 23 years, I have been experienced with children and their academics and their emotional well-being. And so throughout my process, I have always said with the tools that I'm teaching my kids daily, I want to be able to put that in a book. So I always had a vision of helping others. And I always had a vision of just going the extra mile to allow them to meet their goals and give them different techniques to meet their goals. But I just always wanted to put it in a book so they would have a resource throughout their journey in life.
So how has, and I used to work in education years ago. I used to work in elementary school for 7 years, and education has changed since I was there. And I was there for 7 years, and that was 20 years ago. My children are in their 30s now. And so they were at the school when I was there teaching, and education has changed so much. So how have you seen it change from the time you started to now? How is it? Is it different, good, different, bad? Are you seeing, because in the world you're seeing more resources that are geared toward mental health?
Yes.
Once before it was like, if a child was acting out, he was like, they just bad, or they lack discipline. So how have you seen it change, and has it changed for the better? How has that affected you and your position?
I would just say a mixture, because years ago in school, if a student was acting out, of course, they will use the term bad. But now I think the difference now is that we have diagnosis to attach to different children or whatever is going on. But overall, I just feel that now in education, we have more resources geared to help different individuals, whatever their areas of deficit may be. So I think it's just a change. And now we have more resources, more things available for parents, parent workshops, different things like that. But years ago, we had those things. I think now it's like more intense.
How is the reception for the parents? I used to work for the program for exceptional children, and I worked in the school in Buckhead, so it was a little different. The parents were very active. They were very involved because it was in Buckhead. And so I worked at the program for exceptional children, and the parents were really hands-on. So how is it now? Is the parent reception still the same, or do you have parents that are saying, you know what, where you're saying, okay, we're noticing, or this child needs to be tested? Are they receptive of that, or are they, putting up walls and saying, no, not my child?
I would say parents are receptive now in areas of academic and emotional learning for their children. They want resources. They want different things to help their child to succeed.
Okay. So let's talk about this beautiful, beautiful book. What was the motivation behind it?
I would say the motivation, like I said earlier, is that being in the field of education, I have had the experience of seeing different students go through different mental challenges or different emotional things that's going on. And so I think that is what my desire is, to help the kids to be able to navigate through their emotions.
So what was the motivation for the name? And tell us the name of your book.
So it's A Magical Day with Gracie. And so honestly, I am spiritual. And so I was in prayer, and God gave me the name A Magical Day of Gracie.
Awesome. I like that. I've had a chance to read the book, and I'm not gonna spoil it. And listen, we are gonna talk about the book, but we are going to encourage you to purchase the book. You have to purchase the book, because at the end of this book, there is a special surprise. I got my surprise. Okay. There is a special surprise at the end of this book. So let's talk about Gracie.
Yes. So in the story, Gracie is a 4-year-old. She is about to start kindergarten. So, if you can just revert back to your first day of school, getting ready for school, you have those jitters. You don't know what to expect. So Gracie, she have a lot of things that's going on. She's afraid that she would not be able to make friends. She's afraid to ride the big yellow school bus. She's afraid that the cafeteria may be too loud for her. And she's afraid that she can't find her class. So all of these different feelings is going on with Gracie. So throughout the story, Gracie meets an imaginary friend, and her imaginary friend name is Luna. And Luna is really beautiful. She's sparkly. She's really, really cute. And so she just appeared out of nowhere as Gracie is preparing for her first day of school. And so throughout the story, Luna is sharing some coping skills for Gracie to help her with her jitters. And so one of the coping skills that's in the story is entitled Butterfly Breaths. So this is a coping skill that I created. I'm going to actually demonstrate for you all. But basically, whenever Gracie is feeling those jitters, she would do the butterfly breaths. And so I'm going to demonstrate. So basically, just put your hands together like this. And then you're going to inhale and exhale. When you inhale, you're going to raise your arms up like this. And then you're going to exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. So that is one of the coping skills that Luna is introducing Gracie to. And then the other coping skill is happy thoughts. It's important when you are going through different things to just have a positive outlook on different things. So throughout the story, for example, when Gracie is walking to the bus stop, Imagine you're walking to the bus stop, all the kids are chattering, and the big yellow school bus pulls up. So you get really, really nervous. But one of the coping skills is to have happy thoughts. So you're saying to yourself, today is going to be a great day. I can do this. I'm a big girl. I'm a big boy. And so those happy thoughts helps to just give you a sense of peace so that you will have a great day at your first day of school.
You know what? I love that. As I was reading it, I related immediately because I'm an affirmations girl. And when I started reading the book, I was like, oh wow, that's my affirmation. That's but you know what? I love that because oftentimes we overlook the fact that children get nervous. Absolutely. Little children get nervous. They have anxiety. They're afraid. And sometimes it doesn't necessarily show. And like Gracie was saying it in her head and she was feeling, she would stop and, that feeling would come up inside of her. And she didn't know exactly what that feeling was. All she knew was that she was afraid. Right. And so I love it. I love it that there's positive reinforcement. It kept reinforcing. And her little friend kept saying, it's okay. When I used to have a program, and I still have the program, it's called A Failure to Communicate, and it's Beauty Redefined. Okay. So I would tell the young ladies to say, I love myself. I love myself. And so it was the same thing as when you get mad and they say you count to 10 and then, you calm down and you count to 10 backwards. And by the time you get back to 1, you should have calmed down. Well, it's the same concept. And it's, when as women, young girls, boys too, deal with self-esteem issues, from an outward appearance, this person, if for me, I'm like, okay, this person's skin is lighter than mine. They're small. I'm big. Their hair is short. My hair is long. Their hair is kinky. Whatever it is, you feel inadequate and you don't feel pretty. And society has kind of said, if you don't look a certain way, you're not pretty. So doing that and working with the young girls, I would say, I love myself.
Absolutely.
And they would say, I love myself. And I was like, you keep saying it until you believe it. It's like, fake it till you feel it. You keep saying it until you believe it. And then you will. And that has been my favorite, one of my favorite affirmations. You look in the mirror and you say, I love myself. So why do you think it's important? Though that breathing, why do you think you did you create it specifically for Gracie, or is this something that you already implement with your clients and you just incorporated in Gracie's story?
I just incorporated within Gracie's story.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's really great.
Yes. And so now I am an elementary school counselor. So that is like one of our signature coping skills is the butterfly breaths.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I love that. And so how do you do any, what have you done to market your book and to promote your book?
Well, on social media, I will, have different students doing the butterfly breaths to promote the book. I have also, since I'm within the Fulton County school system, I'll go into classrooms. I have done read alouds, showed how to do the butterfly breaths, the importance of happy thoughts. So mostly my marketing is through social media, throughout the school system. And then also I have participated in different vending opportunities as well. Okay. I love that. So how has the reception been with the book? Awesome. I would say awesome. I get a lot of really good feedback stating that some of their students or children, they have utilized the butterfly breaths and they feel a sense of release. And it helps to regulate their emotions as well. So even like teachers or counselors, I have received a lot of feedback that the butterfly breaths really help. And also just reminding students not to give up, keep going. And so those happy thoughts or words of affirmation is a vital role in the Magical Day of Gracie. And it's good for parents too. Absolutely. Adult teachers, parents, adults. And so what's the age level? Because Gracie's 4. So what's the age level? For the booklet age, I would say from 4 to 10. But honestly, LaQuita, the coping skills can help adults as well.
Yes, they can. Yes,
so
they
as
can.
adults, we go through different things. We have anxiety, we have worries, and we can do the butterfly breaths. We can have happy thoughts, words of affirmation. So the book is geared for 4 to 10, but it's for everyone.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So walk us through your journey. What made you want to be a counselor?
Well, so I started as a pre-K teacher. I started as a teacher for years. And then as I was teaching and different things like that, I wanted to go a little deeper. I wanted to have more of a connection mentally with students and also just family involvement. So I was like, well, I want to go into school counseling. So then I transitioned from a teacher to school counseling. And so with school counseling, I had a lot of parent workshops and different things like that. But I was like, you know what? I want to go a little deeper. I want to get more into the community. So then I went back to school. I attended Arkansas University to receive my master's in professional counselor. And then I became a licensed professional counselor. So now it's like I'm in the community. And also, I'm also still a school counselor within the school system. So I'm doing both, but I enjoy what I'm doing.
So give us some examples of some things that you've seen that says, okay, you know what? I know that I'm doing the right thing.
I would just say, like, for example, with my clients, and not only clients, students, we set goals. And I love to see when we set goals. And sometimes we set goals, we want to give up. And I'm like that pusher. No, we're not going to give up. We're going to continue to do whatever you set your goals to do. And I like to see them manifest. So I'm like a therapist that I like to see you exceed and excel in whatever you have set forth.
I like that. I like that. As you go through, have you had any cases that were difficult? Have you seen some that were difficult?
Yes, I have. I have experienced a difficult case in regards to suicide or suicidal ideation. That's a difficult situation when you have a client that wants to end their life. And so as a therapist, I am the therapist to provide the resources so that they would be able to get back into their peaceful place. But sometimes it is difficult to have a client that sit across from me and they don't want to live anymore. And so that's, that can be very hard for me. And so as a therapist, I'm doing my due diligence. I'm doing my best to provide all the resources and all the support for that client before they leave my office.
Wow. Do you incorporate writing with your clients? Journaling?
Journal writing. Yes, that is one of the coping skills. Journal writing is so important because sometimes we have a lot of thoughts inside of our head and we need to get those thoughts out and, in writing. And so I always encourage my clients, get a journal your day, write down your emotions, how your day is going. It's so important for us to do is to write. Yeah. And sometimes some of my clients, they may not like to journal, but they like to draw. So if you don't want to write about it, then draw it.
You know what? That's important because, I talk to people all the time, especially young people. Do you like to write? No, I like to draw. Then draw. Yes. If you don't, if you take a pencil and doodle, one of my, and she's actually my junior assistant, when she's sitting idle, she'll always have a notepad of some sort, and you can look over and she's doodling something. She's drawing with a pen or with a pencil, and it keeps her mind going. It keeps her mind focused. And that's important. A lot of times people don't know that small thing can really be a big thing.
That's relaxation.
Yes. I'm a proponent of storytelling and writing and getting it down. And you don't have to share it. It isn't something that you have to share. No. It's just getting it out. And I'm not a therapist, y'all. Okay. Just a storyteller. I like helping people take their stories from a thought to a realization. But it gets it out. And when you get it on paper, you'll be surprised when you get to a point where you can share how many people are going through what you're going through. And especially when you're feeling so alone.
Absolutely.
How about your family? What's the support of your family when you started out with this Gracie project?
My family is really supportive. I have a supportive family. My husband, I have 4 boys, my dad, my entire family is very supportive. Very
That makes
supportive
a
of
difference.
Gracie.
That makes a difference. So tell us a little bit more about Gracie. And I love and listen, you guys are gonna have to purchase the book. Okay. You're gonna have to purchase the book. I love one of the things that I noticed is how diverse your book is.
Yes.
So, and especially so as people of color, I hear it all the time. I only work with, this group of people. Why was it important for you to make your book diverse?
Because I want everyone to feel welcome. I want everyone to feel included. That's the point. That's the whole reason why.
I like that. And how do you write a book where everybody isn't included? So I love that she was having some anxieties of, this is, and then I love how you have the buddy chair or the buddy bench.
Yes.
The buddy bench. And as I was reading the book, everybody that showed up to play didn't look like her.
No,
they did not look like her. So tell me about that. I know the inclusion part, but it could have been somebody that looked like her in there. So what were you thinking on that end?
I just wanted Gracie to feel included. I didn't want her to feel excluded. So I didn't want someone to look exactly like her. I wanted her to be able to have a variety of different, colors around her.
So and that's the world that we live in, right?
Absolutely.
That's the world that we live in. And sometimes it, I get a little frustrated sometimes because you have one extreme to the X. We have so much going on in the world, and that's because there's so much division. There is very little inclusion. And it's sad because that's not how God intended it.
Right.
God didn't intend it. That's how man intends it, but right. God didn't intend it that way. When he created us, he didn't intend for us to be separate. Absolutely. People who are like-minded don't always look like you.
Absolutely.
They don't always look like you. So tell us about her little friend.
Luna that's her best friend, because Luna is helping her to navigate through her school day. And so no one else can see Luna but Gracie. And so Luna have identified that she knows when Gracie is getting nervous. She can tell by her facial expression. And so Luna, as soon as Luna notices that, she give her a little nugget. You can do this. Keep going. Do your butterfly breath. So it's like a constant reminder. So Luna is very famous, but no one can see Luna but Gracie.
I got tickled when she was sitting and she was on the bus and she was talking, and you could kind of see in the back the kids were like,
right. Yes.
And she's having a whole conversation. But I love that when it reminded me, this book reminded me of so many things when I was raising my children. I remember my youngest child had an invisible friend named Kikisha Mordana. Okay. Now, where that name came from, I don't know, but it was Kikisha Mordana. And she would have whole conversations with Kikisha Mordana. And we're like, okay, we don't know where she came from. But the funny thing was that she disappeared as quickly as she appeared. So we heard about her for a long time. And I think as it's probably as she was going through, whatever internal anxiety or whatever she was going through, Kikisha Mordana provided that sense of comfort for her. And so when she got through that, whatever it was she was going through, she didn't need Kikisha Mordana anymore. And so that seems like it's kind of the same here with Gracie. She needs him. My son used to say something like, I'd rather be there when you need me, but when you want me, that means you don't need me anymore. It's like, okay, you just want me to be around. It's like, okay, that's kind of deep. It's profound. It's deep, So I like that you've given her, I'm going to say, a security blanket of sorts without it being a security blanket. Yes. So I like that. So tell us, when you purchase the book again, yes. the book, you have the opportunity to get a little surprise.
Yes.
And so I thought that was really, really special. So what, do you have any other Gracie books?
I do not, but my goal is this is my first Gracie book, but my goal is to have a series of Gracie.
I can see that. I can
Yes.
see that. I can. And Gracie can go all the way through grade school.
Absolutely.
You
That's
know,
the
she
goal.
can. And and listen, this isn't my book, but I foresee Gracie teaching, because she was teaching. She was
Yes.
teaching, and that, you know, she found a friend and she was teaching that friend. And that is so beautiful, because that's exactly what happens.
Yes.
I have two granddaughters. They're both 4 years old.
Okay.
One will be 5 in June, but they will call each other, like we can be talking, and they'll call each other on the phone like they're grown people, and they're having conversations. And my older 4-year-old will tell the younger 4-year-old, let me come, let me help you. Let me help you with that. And so that's what they do. And that's real love.
Yes.
That's what love is. You know, the Bible says, and we should be like little children.
Mhm.
And that's what that is. And I love that. I really do. I love how she appeared. So tell us what else what you want the people to know about you.
That I love to help people. I have a passion for helping others. I do.
And what does that look like? What does that look like for you?
I guess just being involved, being supportive, providing resources, connections, different things like that. I just want to be a giver. I want to be a helpmate. I want to be able to support others.
I love that. Let me ask you a question. And I typically ask a lot of my guests this. If there was anything, if you could do anything in the world, anything at all, and knew that you would not fail at it, if money was not money was not an issue, resources were not an issue, people resources were not an issue. If you could do anything in the world and knew that you wouldn't fail at it, what would it be?
Helping others to achieve their goals.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I like that. I like your spirit. You're so humble.
Thank you.
You're so humble. I know you're nervous. You're still nervous.
Yes.
I can tell. You don't have to be nervous. No, listen, it's just you and I. You do not have to be nervous, because this is a really, really good thing. It really is. I love that you've taken the time to get your story out. I meet a lot of people who have amazing stories within them, and for whatever reason they don't feel like they can get it out. They don't feel like nobody will care. They don't feel like, oh, my story is just the same as somebody else's. But it isn't. Everybody's story is different. 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. And you run into many, many stories in your field every single day. Every single day. I worked in education with elementary school children, and there was a story every day.
Yes.
Every single day. And you're not just a teacher. And let me just say to you, let me just applaud you. And I'm going to thank you for your service. I know it's not military, but it might as well be, girl. Thank you for your service, because that's not easy, because you're dealing with multiple personalities.
Yes.
And then you're dealing with the parents. And when I worked in childcare, the director said, if you want to know what a child is like, follow them home. Follow them home. And so there are parents who are doing everything right, and they just got a bad deal. And then there are some parents who, I'm sure you've met them, who can do better. They can do much better. And so I say thank you so much for your service, because it's not an easy task. Because think about it. When you were younger, did you have a favorite teacher?
Yes.
Do you remember your favorite teacher?
Miss Karen Walker.
Miss Karen Walker. Now let's flip that. Did you have a teacher who was not your favorite?
No.
So I had a teacher who was my favorite. And I also had a teacher who was not my favorite. I remember both of them. And unfortunately, there are people who remember the worst teacher that they had, and that worst teacher instilled something in them that made a negative difference. I was doing a book for a lady, and we had a whole conversation, and she is 40. I think she's 46 or 40, in her early 40s. And she remembers what her second grade teacher said to her when she was in second grade. And it was a negative thing. And she remembers that. And she said she remembers it like it was yesterday. She didn't have a memory of a person a teacher who said some good things to her. And that's sad. I remember my favorite teacher. I was in high school, and it was a business class, and because of my legs, I have some issues with my legs. I would not wear. You had to dress up, and that time, women didn't wear pants in the workplace.
Right.
You wore dresses in the workplace, and so we had to dress out, and I would not. And so the first week, I didn't have my pants on. I didn't dress out. The second week, she was like, "Okay, you just not gonna do. You just gonna fail my class." And so one of the guys in the class said she don't want to wear a dress because of her legs. And she told me, she was like, "What?" So she said, "You would rather fail my class and care what other people think than to not care what people think and do what you're supposed to do." And she said, "You're going to go your whole life caring what people think?" And I remember that because it made a difference, because I was thinking somebody's going to see me, somebody's going to pick at me. And so when I think about that, and little Miss Gracie, it took this little friend to give her confidence. And what's so interesting is she had a loving mother.
Yes.
She had a loving mother, and her mother was very, very encouraging, but she was still scared.
Yes.
So that just says to me, sometimes that doesn't take away from parents, but sometimes parents need a little help to help our children feel safe. We just need to know where the help is coming from.
Absolutely.
I love that. So where can people purchase your book?
So you can purchase my book on Amazon, Walmart, Books A Million, and Barnes and Noble.
Okay. And tell everybody the name of your book again.
A Magical Day with Gracie.
A Magical Day with Gracie. And do you want to share what happens when they purchase the book? What's the special gift? And then tell us about it. Why that special gift?
Yeah, so with the book, you can purchase a Luna keychain. And so the reason why I wanted kids to be able to relate to something. So for example, if they are in school and they're having their jitters, the little keychain, they can put the keychain on their book bag. They can put the keychain on their lunchbox. They will always have a remembrance of Luna. So if they're feeling worried, they can look at the keychain. So the keychain is going to remind them that you got this. It's going to be okay. It's going to be a great day. So that is the special little surprise within the book, that parents or teachers or counselors can purchase the Luna keychain.
I love that's. Listen, I already ordered mine. Okay. I ordered mine. And you know what? And I probably need to go back and order some for my grandchildren. So listen, if you guys don't already have Gracie's Magical First Day, Gracie's Magical Day.
A Magical Day with Gracie.
I'm sorry. I've renamed your book. And I have it right here. A Magical Day with Gracie. If you don't already have it, purchase the book. Go on Amazon, and how can they get an autograph copy? How can they get a copy autograph from you?
We can schedule a time to meet.
Okay. And so you guys can reach out. And if you need to reach Jenise, you can actually send it through me, and I'll connect you so you can get an autographed copy of the book. Also, before we go, let's talk about some affirmations. So what are some of your favorite affirmations? And I see today is going to be a great day. Yes. I love that one because it puts you in the mindset of today is going to be a great day. I do that all the time. Today is going to be a great day because you're going to make it so.
Right.
I have something on my desk that says act, don't react.
I like that.
And so what are some of your favorite affirmations?
Do your best. You can do this. Be creative. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot that you can share, but it's important to wake up every day just speaking it within yourself, to yourself. It's so important. It sets the tone of your day. So today will be great. It will be, I will meet my goals. I will accomplish my goals.
So do you give your sons affirmations, or you let them pick their own? How old are they?
Well, my oldest is 22. I have a set of
Okay.
twins,
Okay.
18 and a
Okay.
14-year-old. They create their own goals.
Okay.
I don't want to create their goals for
Right.
them. They can create their own goals.
Okay. Well, the affirmations. Yeah. That and you know what? And they're old enough. A lot of people don't understand the power of affirmations. They are really powerful. And speaking life, I always say, if you can teach yourself to believe a lie, you can teach yourself to believe the truth about yourself. Absolutely. So I love myself. And by the time, and you know what, and sometimes when you start out kind of on the low end. You know, maybe you don't believe it. Maybe you don't believe yourself. Don't stop though. Don't
keep
stop.
Going.
Because if you keep going, if you repeat it every single day, if you repeat it every day for 30 days, then you've created a habit.
Absolutely. That's what you want.
And that's what you want. You've created a habit. And then by the time you finish, you're like, okay, I really love myself. And then you can go on and create another affirmation and another. You can do more than one affirmation. I do several. And listen, I'm having my own private summer here. Okay. All right. So listen, it has really, really been a pleasure having this conversation with you on your heart on pages and your reason why behind your beautiful book project. And listen, everybody has a story. 100% of everybody living and dead has a story. And my question to you is, so what's your story? Somebody is waiting on the other end of your story so they can get healing from their story. And Jenise, I appreciate you for being here. And I appreciate what you do, because there are a lot of children who are suffering. Yes, there are a lot of children who are suffering, and they don't know. They're young, they're children, and they don't know which direction that they need to go in. And there are parents who don't know either. So I love the book. She actually has tips in there and how to do the butterfly, the butterfly technique. And so before we go, as I'm having this hot flash, let's do the butterfly technique again. Okay. Absolutely. Are you guys listening? Are you guys watching? Okay, let's sit up.
All right, so you're gonna put your hands together like this, and we're gonna inhale and exhale. As we inhale, we're gonna raise our arms up. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Wow. And that is the butterfly breaths.
Doesn't that feel good? Yes. Doesn't that feel good? Thank you so much. Listen, this has been, you're welcome. And tell people how they can get in touch with you.
So you can email my I have a private practice, Aspiring Minds. So you can email me at aspiring, as aspiring DZ1 @gmail.com, or you can contact me at 470-682-3132.
Awesome. And listen, if you are working on a story, if you have a story and you want to get that story out, or if you've written a book, give us a call. Contact us to be a guest on My Heart on Pages. If you have a story and you have no idea what to do with it, you want to publish your story, or you want to write your story, you have a story and you don't know how to get started, reach out to us. We can help you get started. We can help you take your story from a thought to a realization. So it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure. Better than a triple-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story with my hot flashes, and I am sticking to it. I am Dr. LaQuita Parks, CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. PayProV is pain, progress, victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So we help you take your story from a thought to a realization. Listen, thank you so very much. Jenise, keep on doing exactly what you're doing. You are making a difference. Thank you again for being the difference that makes a difference. All right. And with that being said, see you next time.
LaQuita Parks, CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. She's passionate about helping individuals take their story from a thought to a realization. PayProV stands for pain, progress, victory. The subject LaQuita is all too familiar with. A survivor of childhood medical trauma, she experienced a series of events that have forced her to battle with the painful effects that will last throughout her lifetime. Despite these challenges, LaQuita is an overcomer, and she believes you are an overcomer too. As publisher and contributing author, she told her inspirational story in the international and domestic best-selling anthology, She Said Yes to Herself, Unapologetically Empower Her Guide. She uses her story to motivate, encourage, and inspire others to share their stories. She believes there is someone waiting on the other end of your story to get healing from their story. Free yourself from the pain and shame of a tucked away story. Do you want to tell your own powerful narrative, but you aren't sure where to start? Your journey towards healing begins now.